Do you know that Australia is home to 27 million people? But at the same time, it also has 200 million rabbits. Yes, almost 10 times more rabbits than humans. These rabbits have caused so much destruction that the Australian government officially calls them a pest species. They've tried everything to get rid of them and failed. But where rabbits are a nightmare for Australia, China has imported more than 4 million rabbits in the last 30 years. Not to eat, but to conduct a unique experiment in the Kibbuchi Desert. And the results shocked the entire world. Welcome back to Factify TV. When a green land slowly turns into a desert, the process is called desertification. One of the biggest victims of this is China's Kibbuchi Desert. There was a time when the Kibbuchi Desert was expanding by 500,000 acres every single year, swallowing villages, farms, and everything around it. China tried everything, planting trees, building sand control stations, launching big environmental projects. But the desert was out of control. Then came a local entrepreneur named Wen Biao, who changed the entire story. He invested his own money into a strange idea. He placed dry shrubs in square patterns over hundreds of acres, and then planted willow trees between them. Willow trees, also known as bed trees, can survive without water because their roots travel 300 feet deep underground to find moisture. The wood is used for paper and furniture, but only if the tree survives the desert. But there was a problem. Strong desert winds would blow away the sand, evaporating any hidden moisture and damaging the young willow plants. That's why he surrounded every plant with shrubs to protect the saplings. People laughed at him. Who plants trees in a desert? But no one knew what Wen Biao was about to accomplish. For the first 3 years, things went well. Then a new challenge appeared. Young willow branches needed to be trimmed constantly to make the main trunk grow thicker. Otherwise, they couldn't be sold to the paper industry. This trimming was expensive and extremely difficult in the desert. And this is where rabbits entered the story. Specifically, a breed called Rex rabbits, known worldwide for their soft, luxurious fur. But why bring rabbits to a desert? Because of one small habit. Rex rabbits love to eat the new thin branches of willow trees, exactly the branches that needed to be trimmed. So the rabbits ate the branches, the main trunk grew thicker, and those trees sold for higher prices. It was a win for the environment and a win for the economy. But this was only the beginning. Willow tree roots went deep into the ground, stabilizing the sand. This stopped strong winds from blowing the sand away and reduced evaporation. Moisture began to stay underground. Meanwhile, the rabbits performed their second miracle. Their waste, manure, became high-quality fertilizer. China's zero-waste system turned this manure into a valuable product, and there was more. Rex rabbits reproduce very quickly. One female can give birth to 50 babies a year. More rabbits equals more manure equals more fertile land. Soon, sand began to turn into soil. Organic vegetables started growing. Grass began to spread. Then came the rabbit's third superpower. They can digest grass, but not the seeds. So the seeds passed through their waste and naturally planted themselves across the land. Rabbits were not just maintaining trees, they were rebuilding the entire ecosystem. This became a self-sustaining cycle. Seeing the success, Wen Biao expanded the project. He rented 100 bulldozers, leveled massive dunes, filled depressions, and planted even more willow trees. The Chinese government supported him. Millions of Rex rabbits were distributed to locals, and every household became a small farm. After 10 years, everything changed. An area once known as a sea of sand became lush and green. The Kibuchi Desert covers 18,600 square kilometers, and according to a UN report, 33% of that, around 6,250 square kilometers, has already turned green. This is the result of over 30 years of hard work. The Sea of Death had become an ecological marvel. The Chinese government invested 3 billion yuan, about $400 million, to build new villages and provide employment. Today, over 2,000 farms operate here. 3 million rabbits are sold every year, and the average income of a farmer has reached nearly $9,600 a year. People who once fled the desert are now earning a fortune from it. It is estimated that over 10,000 people's lives have completely changed. You may wonder, if rabbits can transform a desert, why are they such a disaster in Australia? Because before 1859, Australia had no rabbits at all. One British settler released 24 rabbits for hunting, and 70 years later, the population exploded to millions. In Australia, rabbits roam freely with no predators, but in China, they are kept in a controlled environment, used strategically for ecosystem and economic benefit. That's why rabbits are a curse in Australia but a blessing in China. But the story doesn't end here. Kibuchi is also home to the world's largest solar power image, known as the Galloping Horse solar plant, spread across 6,000 acres with 5 million solar panels. It forms the shape of a running horse when seen from space. By 2022, the plant had generated 2.3 billion kilowatt hours of energy, saving 7,600 tons of coal and reducing CO2 emissions by 1.8 million tons. But the solar plant does more than produce electricity. Because sunlight cannot reach the ground beneath the panels, evaporation decreases. So grass grows there easily. And to maintain that grass, Rex rabbits again. They eat the grass, plant new seeds through their droppings, and help stop desertification. The panels also reduce wind speed by nearly 50%, preventing sand displacement. Today, if you visit the Kibuchi Desert, you'll see rabbits, sheep, ducks, willow forests, and endless grasslands, all living in harmony. No one could have imagined that the Sea of Death would one day become the Sea of Life, and it all began with the right use of a small rabbit. Scientists worldwide now call this model an eco-economic revolution. Half of the Earth is desert, and 40% of land is fighting desertification. Countries in Europe, Africa, and even the United States are studying China's success. The message from Kibuchi is clear. When humans and nature work together, even a desert can bloom into a garden of life. Thanks for watching Factify TV. Don't forget to like, share, and leave your wonderful comments. See you in the next amazing video.